Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rob Gill, and today we're going to talk about how will baby boomers retiring affect the economy. Okay, so here's like a question that's been in existence since I've been in the business for the last 17 years, right? We go back to, I remember back into the late 90s, Harvey Dent wrote a book about the baby boomers and how they have a positive effect on the economy because there were so many. I don't know if anybody knows all the statistics, and I promise I won't bore you with that because this is about how their retirement does affect the economy. But from 1946 to 1964 was when all the baby boomers were born. This was right after World War II, and it had a massive effect throughout their life cycle and generation to where they are now in retirement. So the question becomes, when they all retire, which is about 10,000 of them a day between now and 2027, what's going to happen is they probably all have, in all likelihood, IRAs, 401ks, pension plans. And what does that mean? That means when they take their required minimum distributions, that the government gets to tax them on it, right? So if you think about who's going to win in that scenario, there's no doubt about it, the tax man is going to win. He's going to win in a big way. The other thing that we have to think about when it comes to baby boomers and how they take their money out, which is Social Security. Now, if you think about Social Security, which was created about 90 years ago, and it was created when the average life cycle of a male, and I'll use a male for this particular conversation, typically passed away at age 50, which meant they weren't going to run out of money because there was 3 workers at that particular time for every 1 person in retirement. The numbers are completely different now. And understanding that they're different, we always hear from a lot of different economists and a lot of smart folks that are out there today that under the current situation, by 2033, 2034, Social Security is going to run out. So what does that mean? Once again, it means the government or the tax man is going to win because they're going to either have to increase taxes on it or reduce the amount of money that could come from Social Security. So just to remind everybody, once again, we're talking about how will baby boomers retiring affect the economy. And we already just talked about how from a tax perspective, the tax man is going to win. We talked about that under the current rules and distribution models, Social Security is going to run out. So that means they're going to have to change it. But let's not forget, 100 to 150 years ago, there was families, immigrants that came over from other countries that had a massive stimulating effect on the economy, right? So that generation, let's call it the World War I/World War II generation, of all different kind of families, is what America's all about. That's where they came up with the phrase, the melting pot, right? So once again, if we look in the last 40 or 50 years, rinse and repeat. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. It's happening again. So when we go back to the Industrial Revolution, once again, which created economic boom, well, the same thing's happening now, except, and it's just like it though, you have the digital revolution. You have all these online jobs. You have all these entrepreneurs that are out there today that are no longer thinking 9 to 5 driving to an office, but because everything is mobile, everything is fluid, there's a whole new wave of economic promise going forward. So it's a bifurcation as far as I'm concerned. There's going to be a dual effect. Number one, the tax man's going to win with the baby boomers because the baby boomers typically have either pensions, 401ks, or IRAs, which means when they take distributions, it's going to get taxed at ordinary income, right? We also know that there's going to be an increase in jobs because of the dynamic shift that's taken place with the younger generations that are stepping into their greatness, except they don't drive to work for an hour back and forth and sit in a box. They're more fluid in what they're doing because of this digital revolution, data mining, etc. So here's a thought too. I'm here in New Jersey and I grew up 12 miles outside of Manhattan. I remember when I was in high school, I used to go take the bus over just to go get a haircut. It was the coolest thing in the world. Manhattan was the place to be. Enter 2020, COVID-19 hits, and a lot of folks that traveled into Manhattan are no longer doing it. They want to work from home. And what does that mean? They also are looking at the states that they live in. If the states, from a state perspective, are taxed, a lot of folks are now migrating to other states that aren't taxed. That's an important distinction. So not only is there a relocation of where people are going to live, but there's also a different mindset on how people are going to go to work. Once again, reiterating fluidity, mobility, and not being able to be stuck in a box where they have a lot more time freedom, a lot more magic. And oh, by the way, they want to save money in taxes, meaning a lot of state taxes may go down, even though federal taxes are going to go up because of the distributions of what the baby boomers are doing on their money. So every day we're putting out content, and we want to provide as much education as we possibly can. If you want more, check out this video over here.